On the news tonight, court stops INEC from ending voters' registration. AFG releases results of 2022 Common Entrance Examination. President Buhari directs NFF to commence process of election. Russia asks Lithuania to lift border restriction. Good evening and welcome to the major reports. I am Olubunmi Ajiboye Agbola. The Federal High Court in Abuja has stopped the Independent National Electoral Commission from ending voter registration by month end. Justice Mobolaji Olajuwon today granted an order of interim injunction following the hearing of an argument on motion ex parte by Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, and 185. In the suit, SERAP had asked the court for an order restraining INEC, its agencies, privates, assigns, or any other persons claiming through it from discontinuing the continuous voters registration exercise from the 30th June or any other date pending the hearing and determination of the motion on notice. The suit is adjourned to next week, Wednesday, for the hearing of the motion on notice for interlocutory injunction. In the same development, the Independent National Electoral Commission has extended the collection of permanent voters' cards to all the wards in Osun State. Osun State Resident Electoral Commissioner Professor Abdulganiyu Raji, who disclosed this in an interview with OSBC News, said the collection will commence from 22nd to 27th of this month. He urged those who are yet to collect their PVCs to do so in order to be able to actively participate in the July 16 governorship election in the state.
Commission, having seen the rate at which people came out for the collection of the PVCs, has gratefully approved that we move the collection to the wards. And so we are moving there on the 22nd of June, that is Wednesday, and that will be for just 5 days until Sunday, Saturday and Sunday inclusive, to enable people get their PVCs at places very close to their residences. So I want to appeal to everybody to please come out. They should go to the wards where they registered this week.
Meanwhile, the Independent National Electoral Commission has reiterated its commitment towards conducting an all-inclusive election in order to ensure that no citizen is disenfranchised. Osun Resident Electoral Commissioner Professor Abdulganiyu Raji, who made this known at a sensitization meeting organized for sign language interpreters and hearing impaired voters, said the aim is to ensure effective and seamless participation of people with disabilities in the forthcoming governorship election in Osun State. Ayobami Akomolafe completes the story.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has shown its dedication and commitment to encouraging inclusiveness and equality among all citizens of the state. To achieve this objective, the Commission organized the Day Voter Education and Sensitization for Sign Language Interpreters and Hearing Impaired Voters in preparation for the forthcoming governorship election. Speaking at the event, the Resident Electoral Commissioner, Professor Abdulganiyu Raji, said that the World Health Organization statistics show that over 30 million Nigerians are living with disabilities, and it is impossible to shrug off and disenfranchise such amount of people as they are considered to be part of the election stakeholders. He explained that the commitment is not a recent development, as it has been in existence in the Commission's framework since 2018, before it was signed to law in 2019, which enables people with disabilities to actively participate in election and other activities. Speaking in the same vein, the Acting Director of Gender and Inclusivity Department of the Commission Headquarters, Mrs. Dorothy Bello, said that the Commission promotes an accessible environment to people with disabilities, as election materials are in accessible form to them, as to ensure active and effective participation in election and political matters. She revealed that for the first time in history, the Commission has gathered names of National Youth Service Corps members with disabilities to ensure inclusiveness in the coming polls, which can be considered a milestone by the Commission. Some of the participants, including Mrs. Oyedapo Lutayo and Mr. Jelil Adekilekun, in their goodwill messages, appreciate the Commission for their concern towards inclusiveness of people with disabilities in the state and hope for more from the Commission beyond the July 16 election. Ayobami Akomolafe reporting for OSBC News.
The All Progressives Congress has taken a swipe at the opposition, People's Democratic Party, over the results of Saturday's governorship election in Ekiti State. The party, in a statement in Abuja by its National Publicity Secretary Felix Morka, said Nigerians were not deceived by PDP's claim of being on a rescue mission in the country. Responding to Morka's statement, the PDP spokesman, Debo Ologunagba, in an interview with journalists, claimed that the APC heavily induced the electorate whom it had pauperized. However, PDP governorship candidate Bisi Kolawole, in a statement, had congratulated the APC standard bearer Biodun Yebanji, who won the governorship election, urging him to take urgent actions to redress the plight of the people. Also, President Muhammadu Buhari, the APC national chairman, Senator Abdullahi Adamu, and the Progressives Governors Forum held the election of Oyebanji. The president added that the victory of the APC and its candidates indicated the confidence of Nigerians in the party's ability to deliver quality governance. The new Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, has dismissed a media report that its presidential candidate, Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso, will deputize Labour Party's presidential candidate, Mr. Peter Obi, in the 2023 general elections. NNPP described the media report as misleading and embarrassing to the party. A statement made available to newsmen and signed by NNPP's National Publicity Secretary, Dr. Agbo Major, indicates NNPP has never at any time said its presidential candidate, Dr. Rabiu Kwankwaso, could accept to be Labour Party's deputy presidential candidate. The party, however, said it has high regards for journalists as the watchdog of the nation and major stakeholders in the Nigerian democratic process, and urged them to always cross-check their reports before publishing them in tandem with the ethics of their profession. In the meantime, the Minister of Education, Adamu Adamu, has released the 2022 results of the National Common Entrance Examination, NECO, held last month into the 104 unity colleges across the country. Adamu, who was represented by the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, Mr. David Adejo, in Abuja today, said one Ajidapa Miriam, an indigene of Sokoto State, got higher scores of 201, while Idara Obot, an indigene of Akwa Ibom, came second with 200 scores. He said that 15 candidates across a number of states scored 1, which was the lowest score in the examination. The minister said KB State had the lowest registration of 74 candidates, adding that 2022 examination witnessed more female pupils than males. He added that the ministry could adhere to the admission criteria of 60% on merit, 30% on equality, and 10% on exigencies. The minister directed that henceforth the schedule of the National Common Entrance Examination will be in April of every year, while admission processes must be completed by the end of May. The Presidential Amnesty Program says additional 450 ex-agitators have been deployed to facilities in the Niger Delta to learn the business of oil spill, response, cleanup, and remediation. The interim administrator of the program, retired Colonel Melan Dikio, said that the program was in line with the novel train, employ, and mentor scheme of the Presidential Amnesty Program. Retired Colonel Dikio stated this while addressing the ex-agitators after the second batch of basic orientation course organized for the ex-agitators in Port Harcourt, River State. While harping on the importance of wealth creation and employment generation in the region, he said aside from training on oil spill cleanup, others were sent to acquire skills in solar engineering, plumbing, electrical installations, marine, metal, and woodworks. The Amnesty Administrator urged the beneficiaries to take their training seriously to enable them to become employable or to establish their own companies that will help them cater for their families and contribute to the economy of the Niger Delta region and the nation at large. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency says it has arrested over 17,647 offenders convicted and jailed 2,369 between January 2021 and May 2022. The chairman of the agency, retired Brigadier General Buba Marwa, said this during a briefing in commemoration of the World Drug Day today in Abuja. Reports say the International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking, or World Drug Day, is marked on June 20 every year to strengthen action and cooperation in achieving a world free of drug abuse. Retired Brigadier General Marwa said that the theme, addressing drug challenges in health and humanitarian crisis, gave prominence to the recent global experience with COVID-19 and the prevailing circumstances around the world. According to him, this year's theme for the UN Day has beamed the light on an area of the drug problem that has until recent years been on the back burner of the drug discourse. He said that the Drug Demand Reduction Department had been galvanized and working non-stop to ensure that the health aspect of the drug abuse calculus got adequate attention. The Archbishop of Ibadan. Nigerians have continued to groan under the high price of cooking gas, complaining that highly essential commodity is gradually getting out of reach of the common man. Those who spoke with OSBC News on the development called on the federal government to urgently address the issue in order to save more people from impending hunger. Oluwatobiloba Odunuga now brings the details.
Price of liquefied natural gas, popularly known as cooking gas, has risen by 25% between January and May this year in many parts of the nation. A market survey by the OSBC News shows that the 12-kilogram wheat price stood at 7,500 naira in January has increased to 10,500 naira recently. These developments have compelled many households to switch to other options and find alternative means to cook with charcoal, firewood, and kerosene. Speaking on this development, Joseph Utomi, who is a gas seller including Tubosun, Olamijulo, who is an operator among others, noted that there are many factors contributing to the hike in the price of the cooking gas, adding that the international price is not the price they are selling the liquefied natural gas to local distributors, affirming that the Russia-Ukraine crisis and the devaluation of Naira has also added to the hike in the price of the commodity. They noted that the hike in the price of the cooking gas has affected their daily sales, stressing that some of their customers threaten to switch to other means of cooking.
Now, instead of buying that 12.5, they will condescend to buy 6 kg. So it's affecting us seriously. So people that is now buying 6 kg, we not tell you, okay, if you can you give me 2 kg, can you give me 3 kg? It has been affecting us. They are now trying to go into charcoal for them now to sustain their family and all that. If before now gas have been the cheapest.
Some of the consumers of the commodity, including Rotimi Ogunleye, Tayo Akinrotimi, and Oladele Olamide, expressed dissatisfaction with the hike in the price of the cooking gas, stressing that a kg of the cooking gas is sold between 750 naira and 800 naira.
The prices are determined by the interaction of demand and supply at the international market. When the price of this when the price goes up, of course, it will affect on the dollars. And when dollar goes up, the cost of purchase, the landing cost, will increase in proportion with the volume of cash as it comes from outside the economy.
Before, with 1,000 naira, you can fill 3 kg and you still have a 100 naira change to collect.
They however warned that if nothing is done to the salvage situation, it could worsen the condition of the people and throw them into further hardship. Oluwatobiloba Odunuga reporting for OSBC News.
The Archbishop of Ibadan, province of the African Church, Most Reverend Augustine Odufuwa, has called on fathers to save their position Being ordained by God as being a father comes with special responsibilities. Archbishop Odufuwa made this appeal at the 2022 Diocesan Mini Convention Thanksgiving of the African Church Osun Central Missionary Diocese. Omotayo Adebodu now reports.
At the 2022 Diocesan Mini Convention Thanksgiving of the African Church, Osun Central Missionary Diocese, and the welcoming of the Provincial Archbishop, the Most Reverend and Dr. Mrs. Augustine Odufuwa, was held at the Christ Cathedral African Church Square, Isale Jebu, Oshogbo. In his sermon titled The Able God, the Archbishop Ibadan Province, Most Reverend Augustine Odufuwa, appreciated the Bishop of Osun Central Missionary Diocese, Right Reverend James Bamidele, for the privilege. He called on all members of the church and beyond to learn to trust God, who is able to do all things regardless of the present circumstance. Reverend Odufuwa seized the opportunity to appeal to all women to support their husband, as fatherhood is a special responsibility which has been ordained by God.
This is my maiden Episcopal visit since I was installed as the Archbishop of this province, and I'm so happy to be in Oshogbo, a peaceful state, and I bless the name of the Lord.
The highlight of the service was the preferment to Venerable on Reverend Kano Olujide Adebowale Adepoju, who was described as a man who loved God with all he has, a consistent priest and a role model in the Church of God. Speaking with OSBC News, Venerable Olujide Adepoju appreciated the support and honor received from the church, especially the Provincial Archbishop, Reverend Odufuwa, and called on everyone to live a godly and exemplary life. He was thereafter decorated as a venerable.
I want to tell everyone that whatever thing you are doing, do it as if you are doing it for God. It is very, very important. God is watching. Either you are doing good or you are doing bad, God is watching and ready to compensate everyone accordingly.
The service climaxed with thanksgiving for the new venerable and that of the convention. Omotayo Adebodun, OSBC News.
People have been charged to live their lives solely by serving Allah through impactful service to their fellow human beings, as exemplified by Alhaji Hamid Omidiran during his lifetime. The Mufassir of Oshogbo land, Sheikh Abdulatif Abajaoro, gave the charge in his sermon during the burial program of the late business mogul at his Omidiran Gardens residence. OSBC News reporter Oluchi Amoda now reports.
The burial ceremony of the Oshogbo business mogul, Alhaji Hamid Omidiran, attracted dignitaries including notable Islamic clerics, wife of the governor, Mrs. Kafayat Oyetola, Alhaji Olatunde Badmus, Senator Ajibola Bashiru, Senator Ademola Adeleke, the leadership and members of the Oshogbo Progressive Union, Ambassador Adejare Bello, among other notable personalities who converged on the Omidiran Garden to bid the business tycoon farewell. In his sermon, the Mufassir of Oshogbo land, Sheikh Abdulatif Abajauro, who described the late Ahmed Omidiran as a philanthropist par excellence, who served Allah with everything he had, charged everyone to make service to the people their priority in life. The cleric maintained that Ashiwaju Ahmed Omidiran wrote his name in gold on the minds of the people, and his immense contributions to the socio-economic development of the state will forever be remembered. The remains of the Ashiwaju of Oshogbo land were later laid to rest at his residence at Omidiran Gardens. Chief Hamid Omidiran, founder of the popular presidential hotel in Oshogbo, died at the age of 95. Oluchi Amuda, OSBC News.
You are welcome to our sports segment. President Muhammadu Buhari has directed the Nigeria Football Federation to immediately commence the process that will lead to holding new elections into its executive committee at the expiration of the current administration in September this year. Omotayo Adebodun has the details of this and more from around the world of sports.
Ministry of Youth and Sport Development asked the Nigerian Football Federation to hold election into its elective committee in September. The NFF's current administration ends in September, and the sports minister, Sunday Dare, quoted President Muhammadu Buhari as giving the directive in a letter addressed to the NFF president, Amaju Pinnick. President Buhari also directed that the instrument of football administration in the country, the NFF status, be amended to include other stakeholders who had been denied equal representation in the NFF Congress. He therefore urged the leadership of the NFF to ensure that the amended status reflect the national yearnings, aspirations, and peculiarity of Nigeria as a sovereign nation, while aligning with the principle and objectives of football as set by the World Soccer Governing Body, FIFA. In the meantime, Super Falcons forward Desire Oparanoze has said that she would be cheering the team from her base in China after it was confirmed that she won't be available for the 2022 Women's African Cup of Nations. The experienced striker made her absence known through her Twitter handle today, citing border restriction due to COVID-19 infection in China. The forward has won and represented Nigeria in 4 Women's AFCON tournaments, the 2010, 2014, 2016, and 2018, scoring crucial goals in both 2014 and 2016 finals against Cameroon. Omotayo Adebodun, OSBC News.
And on the foreign scene, Russia has warned Lithuania to immediately lift its restrictions on the rail and gas transit of its goods to Kaliningrad, as it is willing to take actions to protect its national interest. Oluwatomi Oyeyemi has details of this and more.
Russia's foreign ministry has demanded the immediate lifting of Lithuania's openly hostile restrictions on the rail transit of EU-sanctioned goods to Moscow's exclave of Kaliningrad. Sandwiched between European Union and NATO members Poland and Lithuania, Kaliningrad receives supplies from Russia via rail and gas pipelines through Lithuania. The Baltic nation of Lithuania announced last week that it was banning the rail transit of goods that are subject to EU sanctions from mainland Russia to Kaliningrad. The Russian Foreign Ministry, however, warned in a statement that if in the near future cargo transit between the Kaliningrad region and the rest of the territory of the Russian Federation through Lithuania is not restored in full, then Russia reserves the right to take actions to protect its national interests. Meanwhile, Belgian authorities have handed over a tooth, the only known remains of the murdered Congolese independence hero Patrice Lumumba, to his family during a ceremony in Brussels. Lumumba became the Democratic Republic of Congo's first democratically elected prime minister after independence from Belgium in 1960. Chief Prosecutor Frederick Van Leeuw gave the tooth, contained in a small bright blue box, to his relatives in a ceremony at Egmont Palace in central Brussels. He said that the legal action taken by the family to receive the relic had delivered justice. The tooth is to be placed in a casket and flown to the DRC. Elsewhere, anger against the new army recruitment scheme has intensified across India, with crowds of protesters burning trains, blocking roads, and ransacking public property to demand that the plan be rolled back. On June the 14th, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government announced Agnipath, a policy designed to hire soldiers on 4-year contracts, after which 25% of the best performing soldiers will be retained for longer services and the remaining 75% relieved from duty without any gratuity or pensionary benefits. In a country already grappling with an unprecedented unemployment crisis, the scheme triggered widespread resentment, with thousands of young men hitting the streets, resulting in hundreds of arrests and at least 1 death so far. Oluwatomi Oyeyemi for OSBC News.
And that ends the major reports on OSBC TV. It was edited by Kayode Adebayo. I am Olubumi Ajiboye Agbola. Thank you for watching. Good night.